and Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall because he...
79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out the fucking real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
We know that these videos really prey on vulnerable young men who have not had many experiences in dating.
Name a bigger red flag than a white guy with a podcast. I'll wait.
I am not impressed. I will have you know, I'm like 80% white. The podcast is goddamn good, and I don't want you anyway. You got random Iroquois art and not art on your walls. You're not my type, sir. Or madam. I don't know, you're allowed to say any more?
Yes, there are Indian families that dig holes and put tents and poop. They do it on the beach now, and they did it off my backyard.
Oh, hoo boy!
There was like 3 different families of maybe 25, 30 people that came for barbecues. They would set up right on the fence of my backyard. I seen them digging the hole, and I seen them put the tent. When they left, there was poop. That happened 3 separate times. I've had to yell at people for shitting on the borderline property line of my backyard. And yes, it was Indian families. So that's not false. You can check my town's page where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach, because there is. They're digging holes and they're pooping and putting tents up because they don't want to go to the washrooms. So I'm tired of people saying that the people pooping on the beach, like that's what they do back home. We are not back home. We are in Canada. As a local, I refuse to let my kids dig in the sand on Beach 1. And you guys are saying all the tents are gone? No, they're not. No, they're fucking not. The beach is full of tents. Full.
Do you want to know why my food is burnt? Because I had a police officer come to my door and harass. Somebody called in and said, she's harassing East Indian people. No, I'm not.
You see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there. I was trying to think, I should have almost gone with the shorter hair. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Red Morning. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hope you're having a good one. Grab yourself a coffee. I'm not on the merch mug today. Today we're going full Le Creuset. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be it's not going to be a fun show today. It's going to be more like interesting, I guess, is the way to put it. So I really hope you don't have anything, I hope I'm not too second screen for you. You know, hope you're not vacuuming the floor, lifting heavy weights above your head, because the New York Times, oh, I couldn't believe it. New York Times started talking about the Red Pill 2012, and I'm just like at a loss for words. You guys are having trouble hearing me? Let's give it a little bit more. A little bit more. There. If I go any louder than this, it's going to start clipping. And if I raise my voice, it's pretty much done too. I tell you what, just for this, we'll get the extra. If you get close enough, it gives you a bass boost. There you go. You should be able to hear me just fine now. There's no way you shouldn't. I'm coming across at -5 decibels now. Actually, you know what? Put that aside for now. We'll get to that in a sec. All due time. It's absolutely funny, by the way. As much as like the New York Times decided to try being red-pilled 2012, they still managed to screw it up, made it femme-centric. You'll get into it, though. But first, this is an aside about nothing. Look at that. We got Nuke and everything. Mayor of Orc City, John Douglas, is here. Oh my God, Black Crown, aka Orc City, in Amazon stores everywhere. Hello, Sarah. I'm your new favorite listener and 100% poutine-loving Canadian. Oh. In fairness, I don't actually like poutine. Poutine is not. It's a Canadian food, but it's a Quebec food. Quebec has many dishes that are very unique to Quebec. And in all fairness, the only Quebec food I really love is this stuff called creton, which if you've never had it, it's like pork fat. It's like a pate, but it's like pork belly, pork fat, crackers, flour. It's like the most addictive stuff ever. Oh my God. It's it's like liquid bacon. You spread it on sandwiches. Oh my God. It's so good. They used to give it back to the lumberjacks back in the day, so they had enough energy to finish their work for the day. Way better than poutine. Way better than poutine. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's Quebecois. Technically, I would be a West Coaster, so I don't think Alberta has its own dish. I guess pierogies, but I mean, that's just because there were so many Ukrainians there. And then BC, it's always smoked salmon. That's what they always swear about. But yeah, it's interesting. Not very many unique Canadian dishes. I guess we got our craft dinner. Montreal bagels. Actually, that is true. The one thing I used to love about living in Montreal was having better bagels than New York. Yeah, Montreal smoked meat. I didn't mind it, but I didn't get it. Like, I'm like, this isn't anything I would really. And that sandwich they use, they always put it with like Wonder Bread with pickle and like a lot of mustard. And I'm like, it's okay. It's nothing I would see as being world renowned. I guess all the Canadian chefs that were best left to New Orleans. Well, that's technically the Acadians. That would be like New Brunswick and the Maritimers. There was if you guys don't know, there's a small subset of French called Acadians. And I don't know all the details about it, but they're mostly like East Coasters. And they had gone all the way down to New Orleans and up to New Brunswick, which is technically the only bilingual province in Canada. And you can always tell them, at least up here, because they sound like a mix between Newfoundlandese and Quebecer. Like, salut, bye. You're like, what the hell? Yeah, there it is. Rye bread, mustard, kosher, pound of brisket. I'm like, pretty sure Texas does brisket better, but we're not going to sit here and talk about barbecue all day. I had to do a quick offside. If you guys don't know, the guy's name's Dinesh D'Souza. You're like, oh, what an interesting name. I only know of him from Bill Maher, like back in the 90s when he was still on ABC. If you guys don't remember, this is like back when canceling was like novel and new and like newsworthy. Nowadays, it's like, whatever. Call me when you cancel Sydney Sweeney. Anywho, we were ass deep in the war on terror. It must have been like 2002. Dixie Chicks were still riding high. They hadn't burned their audience yet. And Bill said something to the effect, it's not brave what American soldiers are doing. It's not brave to hit a button from a joystick in a console room. It's brave to strap a bomb on your chest to go in there. And I get the point he was making, but America wasn't about that back then. They're like, yeah, shut up. Don't you dare talk shit about America. It's a magical time. And so Bill got canceled off of ABC, and Dinesh D'Souza kind of threw him under the bus. I guess he's a conservative think tank guy. I don't know much about his thing. So he and Bill had some beef, and I always thought that was funny. And then he's popped up again out of nowhere. What is this, 20 years later, when there was this guy. Do you know about the Indian Poop Throwing Festival? Okay, yeah, the Indian American Conservative. That's the one. So there was this Indian Poop Throwing Festival. They have in multiple towns down there, and some guy wore a hazmat suit, went down there, started filming for a documentary. It wasn't mocking it. It wasn't using it as like some rally cry for remigration or anything. He just said, the Zoomers are really good at this, by the way. They play it straight. Complete deadpan. He's like, you think of this what you want. He's like, I trust that the audience will see me in a festival of people eating poop and come to a conclusion of their own. So he's like, I don't got to do nothing. He got harassed. Oh my God. The whole country of India was mad at him. How dare you make fun of our Indian poop eating festival? We're not all like that. And it's like, well, why are you mad then? But whatever. Anywho. So he let out a thing this morning saying, look, guys, I am no longer going to be doing this documentary. I am being harassed constantly by Indians, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I'm backing off. And then Dinesh D'Souza out of nowhere comes and he's like, hey, I guess these poop throwers are taking over. And he used it as like a flex to take over how Indian Americans are taking over America. Oh my God. The boy, man. I don't know why out of nowhere he decided to do that one, but it's so funny. He's more like a Christian apologist and apologetics. All right, fair enough. I thought it was funny, so I thought I'd lead with that one. Anyways, we're going to get back onto the topic. Actually, you know what? I should probably pull up here it is. I'll pull up the link. You can peruse through it if you want to. It's not a fun read, man. Like, I read it, I listened to it, and then I'm like, I'm going to post this into AI and I'm like, help me out here, man, because these ladies are just cackling. Where's the title of it? Did liberal women ruin the workplace? And if so, can conservative women fix it? As you can see here, the conservative saviors have arrived, and they are middle-aged, waspy women. What are the two of them? There's two girls, Helen Andrews and Leah Labresco Sargent, which I found the name kind of funny. And first off, I'm thinking, why is the New York Times doing this? They've always been like very pro-woke and all that stuff, but I guess not. So the two sides, the one side is anti-woke, which is apparently that's a side, anti-woke, bam. And then the other side is conservative feminist, technically, but they just say conservative woman. Anyways, they're both against liberalism. The liberal woke women are the worst thing on earth. All right, everybody agrees on that. And it's just so funny how hold on a sec, I gotta pull my notes in here. Where'd it go? There she is. So they have a little back and forth, and I looked at this and I'm like, oh my god, this is exactly what like Roosh and Rollo used to argue about way back in the 2012 Red Pill, and it just made me laugh. Oh, that's the interview. I don't want the interview. I want the points. There we go. Just made me laugh. Like, the one, Rollo even forgot about this. I reminded him a couple years ago. They were having an argument about whether women have loyalty in the same way that men do. And Roosh was like, no, obviously not. They just aren't wired for that. That's why they always turn on people. For them, it's always opportunistic. And if you look at it through a male lens, it makes them look like evil, vindictive bitches. But if you look through the female lens, that's the way it's always been. And you'll see follow-up posts by Ian Ironwood in Red Pill Room where he talks about the male and the female social matrices. Which, again, it's a good read. It's a nice, interesting read. He kind of points out how men have a different method of organizing themselves into groups than women do, and they act within those groups differently. For example, women have a big tent philosophy. Absolutely inclusive, including of everybody. But once you're in the group, it's immediate backstabbing, crab bucket mentality. The idea is you want to exercise power without being seen as exercising power. It's very subversive. What are you talking about? That's where that playing ignorant thing comes in. You ever notice this? And this is why, again, 2025 Red Pill guys are like, if you're looking at politics, it's not liberals and conservatives or any of that crap. It's just men versus women. The absolute worst traits of men and the absolute worst traits of women. Commies and fascists, the whole thing. And that's why the joke now, the meme is about how liberals just play stupid. Well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? It's like, that's how women work. They force you to walk yourself into traps by playing into their frame, which you don't have to, which God knows if you've learned enough about frame. For me, you learn not to just, I don't want to play these games. Be fluent in womanese, but you speak in Manglish. Sometimes just, I don't care, Stacy, is good enough. On the other hand, male groups, they have initial fitness testing. Not everybody's allowed in the group. Initial fitness testing. And since men tend to organize around activities or events or things, ideas, being good at the thing, the idea, whatever. If you're in a bowling league, yeah, come on in. You bowl a good game, you show up on time, you're in. Initial fitness testing. Even the Red Pill subreddit and like the blogosphere and all that stuff had this stuff. There was an initial fitness testing. Read the sidebar. Do you even lift, bro? Do you even lift, bro? Out of all of the gatekeeping mechanisms, has been like the only one that everybody agreed on. If you're not lifting, why the fuck are you here? We can't trust you to do anything. Guys would fake lifts, but you can't fake lifts because guys who lift realize like, no, man, there's no way your bicep curl is stronger than your bench press. Get the fuck out of here. Occasionally guys would slip through. There was a brief period in the Red Pill actually where an incel guy got it to be on the mod team. Lasted like 3 months until people figured out, it's like, wait a minute, just let them talk enough, they'll let you know. Very interesting stuff. Oh, I just realized live chat went down here. There we go. Very interesting stuff. What about men organizing groups like women? What do you want? What does that even mean? When I say men and women, I'm talking about normally functioning, broad spectrum, center of the bell curve men and women. If you want to start talking about the extreme third standard deviation, men that act like defective women and women act like defective men. I mean, technically we're going to get into that a little bit on the New York Times thing, but like, who cares? Bro, why is your squad 546.77? See, now, actually, that would actually make sense to me. I could see that in the sense, like, if the guy was, like, really hardcore. You know how people used to wear chains to their workouts? Because the chain would have, like, it's on the ground as you start your lift, but then as you lift, it comes off the ground, and so it gets heavier as you lift. I could see somebody being that autistic about it. But if he didn't know any of that, and he gave a lift like that, that would make sense. Yeah. Hey, and strippers here, too. Look at this. We got the whole gang. We got Jack, we got Nuke, we got John, we got... All we're missing is Marty with some dick jokes, and I think we could have a full party. The Romanian passport is here. We're missing Pat Stedman's passport, but hey, we'll do what we can. Anyway, so you go through the thing, they make a bunch of points, and it's a lot of babble. They talk about the great feminization, which, again, Rollo, I think it was Rollo coined the term, the gynocentric social order, or the female primary social order. I can never remember which one it was. Maybe it was both. You call it the Longhouse today. We got a much catchier name. Longhouse. Women run things. Women are in charge. Women set the terms of engagement. Blank slate equalism. You get all the stuff. So they're talking about that stuff in here. This is like up there with when that one time in Canadian Parliament, the Polyev guy started bringing up the Great Replacement theory, and I was like, what the we don't talk about this in public spaces. This is some like tinfoil hat Alex Jones stuff that we do. What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, so Helen talks about, wokeness being a feminine pathology, conflict avoidant, gossip driven, rule bending, speech policing, and allergic to hierarchy and direct confrontation. This is 100% female social matrix. They used Ian used a reference between a swing set and a sandbox. The sandbox is rough and tumble, guys build stuff. The swing set is girls. And he had like a wonderful thing of prose, which I'm not going to repeat here, but it was the idea that girls were on the swings and they wanted guys to push them. And the further that guys pushed them, the more excitement they had. But the girls would see the men pushing the swings of the pretty girls, and they would get mad and cut down the pretty girls. So the idea was to make it look like, I didn't ask the men to push me on this swing. They just started doing it. It's not my fault. And and the way he got through it kind of explained through allegory how women organize on this stuff. Now, going back to the notes here, there was ultimately six issues that they kind of worked on. Is wokeness a feminine thing? Are there feminine virtues, distinct feminine virtues worth celebrating in public? The legal bias. Oh my God. They tapped into is the law pro-woman? Oh my God. They're getting everything. So the legal bias, who's protected, who's not, a solution to work, talking about workplace problems between men and women, the Me Too and all that stuff. Hey, what's up, AK? And then some Title IX stuff, which is very American focused because we don't have that in Canada. We have our own bullshit. But the idea of how college is basically shutting men out of higher education, which sets them out of the higher professional world, especially in intellectuals, education, politics, right? And then for some reason, they did a big thing on veterinary medicine. I assume that's because it's a female-dominated industry that still works well. And so they're using it as the example of, see, women can do fine. We do great when it comes to curing cats. And ultimately, the one chick, Helen, which I think is the anti-woke one, she blames legal favoritism. She's like, dude, the only reason this is like this is because our systems suck. And then Leah, the conservative woman, says it's the denial of differences between men and women, the blank slate equalism thing. Didn't I tell you guys this was going to be riveting stuff? Now, my first thought when I was looking through all this stuff, why are two women arguing about the future of men? What the hell? And then I realized they're not. Men are not part of this conversation. We are not involved at all with conservatism in this, with wokeness, with nothing. We are the protected animals. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually not a good thing. This is actually a very bad thing. A very bad thing. This is 1997 through 2003 men's rights advocatism. Or advocate? MRA. What's he talking about? Take a time machine, pull it back, pull it back. The MRA started way back. Like, they were still mailing newsletters out to each other. I think it was like in the 80s. And eventually ARPANET turned into, there was BBS's, GopherNet, and I think Usenet was where it finally found its home. And there was like an alt.net. I can't remember what it was for that one. I'm not quite that old, so for me, I'm hearing it secondhand. But anyways, so guys figured out a way, and it was essentially like the first forums, the first blogs were these altnet sites. And men's rights advocates, there was like Herb Goldberg, Esther Villar, and all this stuff. Guys would start bringing up all this attempt to equalize the sexes was actually detrimental towards men. He has a book. I got it somewhere here. I was using it on a blog post not so long ago. The problem with the hazards of being male, which, oh my God, it is like you read it now and then you go watch a Homath video and you're like, oh my God, it's exactly the same. The thing is, the book came out in 1976. 1976, man. 50 years, we're still having the same conversations about the same topics, and the same guys are whining about the same stuff. But back then, it was still new, it was novel, and we're online for the first time ever. Command line interface, you'll go check it out for yourself. Here's the thing, though. Because men are men and women are women, eventually a woman got in. I can't remember which one. I want to say Esther Villar was first, but I could be wrong. Doesn't really matter. Just woman A. And Ian even talks about this in Praxeology of the Dominant Male, I believe, which I found out his blog went down, so I'm actually making an effort to migrate all of his best stuff onto my Substack, so at least guys have a centralized place to go find this stuff. Anyway, he brought up how an all-male group, which the MRA used to be, had that initial fitness testing. Do you know what you're talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And then, wholehearted acceptance. If there was any people acting out of pocket, you'd handle that internally. It's mostly, they call it, what is it? Fight and forgiveness. That was it. You fight your buddy and then you get over it and then you move on. Women don't have that, by the way. So anyways, one woman gets in, completely ruins the dynamic. And everybody's like, oh, women ruin this, women ruin this. Both of us ruin it. Because the women will get in there and they ultimately want to be the most popular person in the room. Where guys want to be the best X in the room, whatever the room is about. They want to be the best X. If you're in the football stadium, you want to be the best guy playing football. If you're in the basketball court, you want to be Michael, MJ. Women want to be like the most popular person there. They want to be the announcer. They want to be, they'd rather be Vince McMahon than Hulk Hogan, if that makes sense. Now, some men are thirsty. I don't know if you know this, but some men get laid and they're happy, and they compartmentalize men and women just as they see fit. Some men, on the other hand, are not sexually content, and they tend to be thirsty. They'll do things, pander to women in order to get women attention. A subset of the men in this otherwise good functioning hierarchy will now switch their process from I want to compete against these men to be the best at the thing that this room is for, to getting that woman to notice me. And of course, the supplicative behavior, the sneaky fucker, like, you guys know all of these different things. They all happen. Here's the problem, though. They never work. But the girl will take the attention. This is a concept called orbiting, which you guys may have heard back in the day. God knows we've talked about it enough. Hope she sees this, bro. Still won't fuck you, bro. You've heard all the terms. AKA Normie McDonald. I feel so happy that he's come back just to get dunked on again. He has been out of my mind for like a year now. Yeah. So if one woman can cause this problem, and here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a large amount of guys. During, what was it? This was another war on terror study thing that was coming out, which was really fascinating. I should have saved this stuff, man. They were trying to figure out, and they were talking about extreme Islam versus moderate Islam. Eternal September, a whole bunch of, like, basically groups being invaded by other groups. At what point does it cause problems? Ended up being 12%. 12%. I think, yeah, it was Eternal September was something that was the original guys that came up with it. But then War on Terror, a bunch of like think tanks figured out the same thing. And it was just interesting to see how they correlated completely. Convergent evidence, damn awesome. 12%. I'll do the Eternal September one. If you guys don't know that, it's an easier one and I know it better. Eternal September was the idea that back in the day, internet was attached to, you had to have like a teacher as a parent or like an educational account. It's like the old Facebook where you had to be part of Harvard to get there. And every September, all the kids would come back to school, and then all of these Usenet forums, which had a bunch of highly invested, above average engagement type people, flavor posters is what they call them now, but back then it was just, the people that were invested in a space, would get flooded by these other people. Now, they didn't know the norms. They didn't care about the norms. They were fighting on a whole different thing. They sometimes didn't even understand the point of the place. A lot of times it was just to be acerbic and trolling and whatever, which was fine, because when there was more regular users versus new users, you would generally police behavior, ban people. Guys would get the hint on how to be popular in the space is to do better at the space. But once it hit that 12% mark, it was too hard for the regulars to fight the thing. And so it would shift them over. And again, they found that with just internet Usenet forums. They found that with War on Terror, people migrating into Iraq and Iran and God knows where else in there, Kuwait, who knows, Oman. And of course, the MRA found this out the hard way too, when a woman started getting in there and over 12% of guys started simping for her. Now here's the problem. Other women started noticing us. Oh, Esther Villar, she's the popular woman of the men's rights. And then other women started coming in. Now, granted, sometimes they didn't all just come in because, men are in here. I could be in here. I could run it. It's not really how it works. It's more of an instinctive thing, and how we think about doing something and how it plays out in the aggregate are never the same. This is why these arguments always happen. I would never do that. I came here because I have a son and he's blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I can explain to you how hunger works on an instinctive level. Your body sends chemical signals to your brain. Your chemical signals in your brain encourages it to find food at any expense. Well, that's not it. I was just a little bit hungry, and so I grabbed some things. Like, yeah, how you feel and how your instincts work are not connected. If they were connected, they wouldn't be instincts. They'd be choices. So, of course, you're going to have a different explanation for this. This is why, again, these arguments never go anywhere. So anyways, if one woman ends up causing this problem, two women can absolutely destroy it. It's called a pivot. And what happens during a pivot is the two women now have a separate parallel competition to the guys competing in a space to do something. Guys want to be the best at the space, at what the space is for. Women want to be the most popular person in the space. The two women fight over each other over who can gather a larger army. A larger army. I see you, Luffy. I'll get you in a second, man. Because every time I do these ones, I lose my train of thought, and then the whole thing gets side-railed. So they fight over each other. Now, here's the thing. They will fight viciously. I'm more important. She's a bitch. Gossip, backstabbing, all that stuff we just talked about at the beginning. Until a guy comes in between them. It's like, hey, we're supposed to be here. Like, this is a Warhammer 40,000 group. Why are we talking about these two broads? And then they will team up on him, shaming, taking their armies of simps to basically attack him. And it works. It really works. And that's how the MRA ended up going down. Eventually, a bunch of women took it over. It got so bad that guys literally decided, fuck it, I'm taking my ball, I'm going home. They started up MGTOW. Remember MGTOW? That was the original MGTOW. When they said men going their own way, it wasn't that I'm turning away from sex for the rest of my life. They're like, I want to do men's rights without a woman in here lecturing me. And that was it. That was the original MGTOW. Of course, the guys who didn't get laid joined on it. It's like, yeah, this is great. I don't like sex either. Like, no, we love sex. We just don't want to get arrested for it. Pause in here. Red Pill Luffy, you son of a bitch. I just noticed too. You fucker. All right. We have to do it, boys. You got to accept it for what it is.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha
named Ryan Stone.
It says, I asked Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline,
I am now concerned for my career.
And I'm still recommending clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
Remember that Family Guy thing where Peter stubs his foot and he's just like, and then it's really funny at first, and then it stops being funny, and then it goes on long enough that it's funnier again. I'm getting that impression with the Murphy ad now. Anyways, showing my love to Ninja Ryan Stone. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Women hold scorns that honestly do not ever go away. Something I noticed fully as an adult. Male thirst helps it. Oh, yeah. That's actually something they go through in the article where... I think it was the conservative one who was saying it, where like men have that, I think they use the term, the fight and forgiveness model, but women don't. They hold permanent grudges, and that's very detrimental to a place where there's social norms. Like you need a way, you need a redemption arc for people to get back into place. Otherwise, all you're doing is you just like constantly culling people until you're by yourself. So it's very funny. The guy could cure cancer but still be remembered for the cuck article. It's like the joke, man. A girl can suck 500 dicks, then go to the church and they'll call her a Christian. A guy sucks one dick, goes to the church, and they call him a cocksucker. Meh. Wait, is Swerve in here too? Dude, did I miss that? Who's talking to Swerve? Alex, good to see you, sir. Anyways. Now, here's that. Now, the whole point of that digression was to get to why I think this is a bad thing. We're now at the point now where like women have a monopoly on the red pill, and it's like no shade on Pearl, but when it comes to the red pill, who's the most popular person right now? Pearl's obviously in top 3. I think Tate's fallen off. Myron, I'm pretty sure, has fallen off. I haven't seen shit about him for a while. Pearl's still running strong. She's the Esther Villar of the red pill, which, you know, good for her. Not for us so much, but hey, whatever. So when they get to their 6 questions, is wokeness primarily feminine? The anti-woke chick's like, yes, absolutely. Feminine shit. And this is what I was talking about before. Gossip, ostracism, conflict aversion, bending the rules for your side. Sounds a lot like communism, doesn't it? Again, I'm telling you, man. Politics are just the gender wars on a national scale. And he's like, yeah. So all of this stuff that's happening with wokeness, the Me Too stuff, the... kicking people out of this, the including everybody into the bathroom stuff. This is all extreme feminine coded behavior. And of course the conservative woman's like, no, it's not. It's the fucking liberals. Makes me laugh. It's like, no, it's not women. It's the liberals. Who's the liberals? Primarily women. But that's coincidental. And that's the part that makes me laugh about this one. Like, I'm not getting political. I just find like I'm not like the other girls is such like a conservative woman thing to do. That's their whole MO, and it always makes me laugh. Me no black, me Dominican. Nuke, out of all the memes you've started, that one's the one that makes me laugh the most, man. Makes me laugh the most. But yeah. It's just a gender thing. But they always have that. It's always like, I'm not like the other girls. That's why they always dress up in like very seductive things. But for some reason, there's like a detail on it that's demure or virtuous. I'm not a whore like the other girls. My crotchless panties have like frills on it. And you're like, what the fuck is this? So they argue for like 10 minutes over if wokeness is actually feminine, as if there's any discussion on the issue anyway. But that's not what they're doing. And this is a big difference between how men and women engage with stuff. Guys would look at this issue, is wokeness feminine, and they would start discussing facts because they want to get to the truth. The idea is there's a singular truth, that there is a singular universal answer to that. Is wokeness primarily feminine? And the idea is they would share things with each other, argue over whether it's true or not true. And I'm talking ideal. I'm not talking your Andrew Wilson, Rachel arguments. I'm talking real arguments here. Real ones. You know, that fact's not true, this fact is true. And basically, are these statements true or not true? And the idea is you put enough of the true factual statements together and you come to a conclusion to answer this question universally. Men have a objective truth. And was it objective truth, subjective... Fuck. I have to pull that up. It's a whisperism I've used. Rollo loves, out of all the stuff that other people have done in the red pill, I think this one's his favorite. It was the reason why men and women can't argue, because we don't argue about the same things. We're not playing by the same rules. There it is. This page, no particular order. There she goes. That's it. So men are factual absolutionists. In other words, there is a single fact. Facts are facts. Truth is a collection of facts. Truth is predictability. Women, on the other hand, are factual relativists. When you ask women about truth, they talk about my truth, because to them, truth is a codified level of personal experience. So that's what women are doing here. Women are just like, how does this apply to me? Solipsism. And the first one, she's anti-woke. So of course, yeah, the woke is all feminine shit. It's just those other chicks. I'm not like them. I'm anti them. The conservative one absolutely does do that. But she's like, no, we're not like that. We're different. That's a liberal thing. It's always about just absolving themselves of guilt of doing this. And it's a very woman thing. So all women do it to some extent. That's the other thing too. It's one of the hardest things to articulate in this space, is that everybody treats it like there's a black and white morality to this, which again, a very feminized way of looking at it. Turns out when you get back into it, guys tend to be moral relativists, while women are moral objectivists. Women they treat morality like a health bar. It's got 0 to 100. The only difference they argue about is who sets the moral tone. So it's very like, for such an anti-hierarchical people, they are all big about the big man of history type stuff. Guys, on the other hand, they treat morality as like things are good for you or them, or bad for me or them. Murder is wrong. Murdering a guy that's trying to kill you in self-defense is good. See the relativism there? But that's why. Murder is wrong if somebody murders you. Murder is right if somebody's trying to murder you and you murder them. Relativism. Everybody here should understand that perfectly well. But again, women here are going for the factual relativism. They don't really argue the points. They spend 10 minutes dancing around it, just saying, I'm not like the other girls. And it drives me nuts. I forgot chat. I got to get you guys back in there just in case. The more moralistic a guy, the more he's in the longhouse. Dude, we got Chad in here too? Mish Luffy? My God, man. This is like a Twitter space, only it's not horrible. Pearl coattails Rolo. Who doesn't coattail Rolo at this point, man? Have you not been on the internet? Everybody coattails Rolo. I got a dozen names off the top of my head. 33 Secrets used to read the Rational Mail in his fucking car. His Honda Civic in his garage so his wife couldn't hear, and pass it off as his own. There was this other guy who had like a surfboard on the wall. We did an episode on it. He did the same thing. Who's the black guy that died from coke, or the hooker or whatever? Kevin Samuels was dick riding Rolo. He took Rolo's speeches, turned them into like sermons. Homath coattailed Rolo. Myron coattailed Rolo. Andrew Tate coattailed Rolo. And Rolo coattailed like a dozen other guys before him. It's all an Ouroboros, man. We're all eating from each other. Everybody's stealing from everybody here. The difference is, and this is why I put guys like me or Rolo or some of you guys in the chat like Nuke and that in a different category, is you accept that like there's no original ideas. We're all stealing from each other. But how you synthesize them, your own personal voice you add into it, and a recognition of where you're getting things from really makes a difference. Yeah, so you can't really get mad at people for coattailing others. Granted, Rolo, absolutely. Dude, that Godfather thing that somebody named him worked out so well for him. Because now he gets to say they're running him up the flagpole. They're biting his shit. It works for him. As a marketing thing, it's fucking brilliant. I wish I had that OG enough status to be like, they're stealing all my shit, those fuckers. That's why I throw all the cuss words in. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see that. Nuke saying, so I guess Nuke and them, they got Fort Worth Playboy coming onto the show after this, which is good. I forgot. I've got to, we're taking a quick break in the regular scheduled program until I get back to the point. Because I forgot to set up the redirect so you guys can get in on there. It'll be fun. I won't be able to make it. But you guys should. There we go. I miss Kevin. No one put 6 out of 10 single moms better than him. In the end, he didn't live by anything. He just talked shit. What was he? He was doing drugs, got a heart attack with a hooker in his bed. The hooker was a single mom or something like that. It's kind of like, it was like Coach Red Pill. oh, I'm the real red pill guy. Meanwhile, he's like talking shit about the Ukraine in the Ukraine. And he's like, why are they trying to kill me? That's weird. Didn't see that coming. It's like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. The guys with the SS gear are very mad when you talk shit about them in Slavic land. They don't play that. You know he's the source because he's the most suppressed. Technically, the reason that he's the most suppressed is because of that stupid DHS watch list. That stupid... He was the most popular guy at the time. And so when a bunch of those PhDs tried to get the Department of Homeland Security to throw us all on the list, they threw... That's why they got Rollo, they got Clary, they got Rich Cooper, and Myron. And they didn't get me. Drew Wilson's pickle jar sending me. Yeah. That should almost be the term for it. Like, yeah, guys getting pickled. Anyways, back to the thing here. So you see what I mean? Like, you can, if you've read Red Pill stuff, 2012, 2014, this is all treading old ground. And this is the part where I'm worried about and why I had that speech before here about the way the Usenet and the MRAs worked, is because this looks exactly the way that the women taking over the MRA were doing. But it's the Red Pill thing. What was the next point? Are there distinct feminine virtues worth celebrating in public institutions? Women ain't shit. Am I right, guys? Now, the anti-woke chick, she downplays them. She's like, no. She's mostly focused on why women are pieces of shit. And like anything that they do, it's kind of similar. And to be fair, the back in the 2000s, the Christopher Hitchens atheism arguments, I recognize all of this shit. That's the same way when they were talking about moderate Islam, and they're like, moderates don't count because they just follow who the most extreme person is that drives the ship anyway, because they'd rather have in-group loyalty than any principled beliefs things. So she goes that route, which again, it's like the MRA argument. This anti-woke chick is no different than a Karen Strawn or a Esther Villar. Now, I can't speak for Karen. Karen, I mean, we're a little rough and tumble, but we were both from Alberta, so I can get that. But Esther Villar, I remember when you would first read her when you're doing the sidebar and you're first red pilling, you'd always look at this and be like, oh my God, men do have it rough. What the fuck are we doing? You find how we kind of walk into our own misery and accept our own misery. And it was not fun and we didn't like it. And then after a couple of years, you kind of get your frame, understand a lot of the mental models here, and you get back in and you read it again. You realize this is like a very embittered feminist who wasn't invited to the cool clubs party. It's like, fine, fuck you bitches. It's not that she wants to help men or she likes men or whatever, just hates chicks. These broads, these beautiful broads are making me look stupid. Fuck them. And that's when you realize that's what this chick is. She's like, nah, just women ain't shit. The worst misogyny ever always comes from women. Anyways, the conservative one is, basically motherhood. All the traits of motherhood is what she described on that one. All those things. Longhouse stuff. Of course, I think they kind of miss the point here too, where they talk about what is ultimately good and categorically bad in women. You got the devil angel thing here. Everything women do is bad. Everything women do is very bad. And the other one's like, no, everything women value is good. And everything women do is very good. And it's like, everything is toxic. It's a matter of volume. So when they talk about like care and attentiveness as mothering as like a good thing, that's great. But what is like the ultra safetyism that we have going on nowadays, but like extreme mothering, extreme protecting? No, your seatbelt has to be like crash test dummy proof, or you can't go for a drive. So you have to drive like a minivan to be able to fit more than 2 kids on it. I remember they didn't talk about it on here, but there was this argument. I want to say Cartoons Hater talked about it, where they were bringing up a lot of that. And it was a decent point. I have no idea if it's true, where the extreme safetyism is why the birth rate is dropping. I'm assuming it could be a factor to how much, I don't know. The idea was, back in the day, and my mom even texted me once in this too. She's like, yeah, it's crazy. I just realized if we had to use car seats when you guys were kids, you probably wouldn't have had a brother. I'm like, fair enough. Now you can't fit as many people into a car because you have to have so much safety gear in the way that you can't fit more children. And so parents don't want to have to buy a whole new, larger van to get around. And so they decide just like, I'll stop at 1, I'll stop at 2. No idea if it's true. But again, the girl thing here, what they're trying to do is bolster their reputation. This one on the left, the anti-woke one, I'm not like the other girls. Fuck these bitches. Guys love that shit. Oh yeah, she's one of us. One of us. She's not one of us. She's one of her. She just wants it's pick me girl behavior, which again, these girls are a little bit long in the tooth and a little bit I'll leave the looks out of it. You got the picture, you see it for yourself. Maybe pick me girl isn't in the cards. And then the other one is just like, nope, my conservative woman stuff, my longhouse stuff is the absolute greatest. They didn't actually answer the question. They don't really want to discover our feminine virtues worth celebrating in public institutions or not. Because God knows, what we need is more senators and House members breastfeeding during session. It's like, what the fuck was that? All right, whatever. And then the legal bias. I got such a laugh on this one, man. Such a laugh. Because it was like, it brought you back to like the Karen Strawn, old school Terrence Popp arguments of like the 2000s again, or all the way back to the Herb Goldberg stuff. What a fucking weird comment that guy was. Anyways, yeah, the legal bias. And of course the anti-woke one, anti-discrimination law, punishes masculine vices, ignores feminine vices, which is, it's true. Men tend to sort things out through violence. Violence heavily illegalized within the law. Like, I don't even think a lot of places, like if you go to hardcore feminized countries like Canada, for example, or the UK, self-defense is illegal. It is illegal for you to have something on you for the purposes of self-defense. Runkle of the Bailey has a great video where I see Alpha AK, I'll get to that in a second, where he showed if you have a knife in your pocket and the cop pulls you over and asks you, what do you have that knife for? You're like, well, I'm in a dangerous neighborhood. I'm a little bit worried. He can arrest you on the spot there. Holding a weapon for the purposes of assault or something like that. So you have to say, no, this is a tool. I need it for work. I use it to open boxes at Amazon so I don't break my hands. You have to have like an accidental self-defense thing on you. You're not allowed pepper spray. You're not allowed OC spray. There's like chicks online in Canada who are like trying to skirt this law by finding things that you would need in your purse anyway, like hairspray or something, but that also serve the double purpose of an OC spray. So like random chemical concoctions. Oh, this is a face moisturizer or something. I haven't even followed it. I just caught like the gist of it and I was like, oh boy, that's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. Some anarchist cookbook for women. What kind of stuff can you stab rapists with? It was like, all right. Seems like very weird that we have to do this little weird dance. But you see what I mean? Physical self-defense, illegal. But you can gaslight somebody. You can psychologically torture somebody to the point where they commit suicide. And that's not illegal. In this sense, she's not wrong. But again, it's all from the frame of, fuck these bitches. Men are so hard, downtrodden, whatever. Anyways. The conservative one's the one that makes me laugh. Because she's like, yeah, well, they technically do, but it's not because... And she goes blank slate, equalism, which I keep forgetting how every communist doesn't realize they're communist until you point it out. It's like, look, the law blocks this stuff. Yes, that's true. But it's incidental. Men and women both do it. So even when it came to like discriminatory laws, even she's like, well, guys could easily game the divorce system as much as women do. All they have to do is act just like women do. It's like, yeah, well, I just remember that was the argument that, oh, this is going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy. You know what? I'm going to pause this. We'll get to Alpha AK and then I'll get into the spicy one here. $5 1 cent super chat. Damn. Not only is Ryan the funniest man of the Manosphere, but he's also not on a watch list. Shame. I don't know how I do it, man. I have never been banned. I've had one ban in my life, and it was from Reddit, which didn't really matter. And that was just because I told some mom that had a colic kid that if she was better at keeping a schedule, the baby wouldn't be colic. Anyway, she followed me for a year reporting everything until they finally got banned just out of that. And then they did like a big post on Reddit cheerleading what they had just done. And I was like, holy shit. I didn't realize these people were this angry. Good for them, I guess, but whatever. But they don't want a Canadian on the DHLS. So they got Rich Cooper, but they think Rich is American. Because he doesn't have a Canadian accent to him. Not really. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, the law. So, yeah, it's just incidental. Anyways, the spicy part. The spicy part was back during like the racism arguments they were having in like the 80s and 90s and the 60s and the 70s. There was a thing where they would talk about laws were specifically designed to police black behavior. Essentially, it's like we're making watermelon illegal kind of stuff. Or like a lot of the weed law was because black guys smoke weed and white guys didn't. So they would make these specific laws to turn them. And then the argument that the KKK side of things have was like, well, all you have to do is just act like white people and you never have any problems. I'm not here to tell you whether like that's a good way of doing it or not. I just found it extremely funny that conservative women in 2026 have decided to take on the David Duke arguments of the 1970s with a straight face when it comes to men and women in the law. It tickles me. It tickles me to no end. To no end. Tickles me to no end. So that makes me laugh. And I was like, I got a whole bunch of notes on here where I grabbed like specific quotes. And I'm like, at this point, it's just going to be dunking on their stupid arguments. But this is another reason why arguments are just, I hate arguing. I hate debating. I hate all of this shit because it's all so disingenuous. It's all, like I said, I can look back to the 70s and see the same gotchas that they would use on everything. Black guys use it against white guys. White guys use it against women. Women use it against men. Midgets use it against basketball players. It's like, it's all the same disingenuous shit. And it's never about getting to some ultimate useful truth, some utilitarian ideal. It's like, hey, well then this information could help us change the law for better outcomes. Never gets to that. It's always about, I'm not like the other girls. Their out group is the problem, not the in group. You guys are great. You guys who are buying merch, you're the best. It's not your fault. Whatever you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. It's not your fault. It's their fault. Insert out group here. It's those damn feminists. It's those damn coloreds. It's those damn other people. You're like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah. Free gender, $5 super chat. Oh, the fat Brazilian got banned from YouTube on the 2nd. Complete channel deletion. I heard about that. I want to say I feel bad, but I don't really care. Like, I wish I could feel better about it, but I don't. Yeah, he's talking about John Anthony Life. Speaking of dick riding Rollo, he was dick riding that too. He tried to make some big thing where he would just talk shit about everybody. It was always like the biggest gossip channel ever. He was down in Brazil because he wanted to sleep with 1,000. It's like, no, 2,000. No, 3,000. He's probably up to like 12,000 women at this point. I mean, mostly women. He used to get drunk, had a big alcohol problem, and he would say, at least most of the women were women. It's like a lot were prostitutes. Some were troons. Passed out at a Denny's. It's like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking piece of work. Anyway, he's got his YouTube channel finally canceled. The only reason I would like to have it still around is because oh dude, it was like a great case study in be attractive, don't be unattractive. Justin Waller. You guys may know him, you may not know him. He's worked with Rollo. He was like rich. His parents, or was it him or his parents, and they passed it off to, I don't know. It was like a blue collar company. Does fairly well for himself, dresses well, started doing like the Manosphere stuff on the internet. I'm not sure why. He didn't need the money. He didn't need the fame. He was already tall and attractive, but whatever. Anywho, so John Anthony Lifestyle decided for one day for funsies. He found he had like a estranged relationship with his mom, which, you know, a lot of guys have moms that have been kind of shitty. So brought his mom on there to talk shit about him for like a live stream for 2 hours. And he's like, yeah, I got him now. Now I got him exposed. And he put like exposed and he did the black and white thing and him looking concerned. Like the same way that Caleb Hammer does on his little Fresh and Fit finance show. But then everybody was like, hey, this tall, attractive, charming man is getting attacked by this fat alcoholic troll. They all just turned on him. Be attractive, man. If you're going to be a prick, you better be the attractive one. That's so funny. I don't know who was caught up in whatever. Makes me laugh. Anyways, yeah, so rest in peace, John Anthony Lifestyle. Hope you have fun in Brazil with your troons. God, there's so many fucking retards that, like, until you guys remind me, I forget all about them. All about them. I'll get a book update. I'll tell you in a bit. Fresh and Fit fine. It is. Come on, man. John, you know this. You watch it and you're like, I don't watch it. I think I've watched 2 episodes now. just recently, because I've seen all the things and clips and all that, and I'm like, fine, let me see what the fuck this is all about. He had this dude on who spent $15,000 in Pokemon cards, was in debt. For some reason, the first 45 minutes of his show was him telling a story about how he and his wife would throw hands. And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with investing? What does this have to do with debt? Were you placing a bet on who drops first? It's like, no. And then he's yelling at him for this and he's yelling at him for that. And you look at the thumbnail, he's always looking scowled and the guy's looking a little fucking like this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fresh and fit for finance. I get it now. The Jerry Springer. You just want to see shitty people with shitty lives having shitty things, refuse to take any help and want to suffer. And then Caleb will push his thing. I mean, good for him. That's really if you really want to succeed on YouTube, that's kind of the model. Fresh and Fit discovered the model and you just got to apply it to other things. If you want it about dating, sit there, give the girls White Claws, kick them off the podcast. You want it for finance, get there, get them to talk about money and ask them why the hell they threw hands with their wife. Yeah. Oh, it's pulling the worst of the worst. Here's the thing too. A lot of it now is people that are fans of the show. He's like, most of my guests now are fans of the show and they put their thing and they want to get in. And Andy Warhol was right. It is 15. Everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame in the future. Their 15 minutes of fame. And they will go on. And I don't think they're making it up. At least not yet. There's still enough people that are legit bad in finances and he has to like read shit off, which is fine. You couldn't. They couldn't be actors because actors aren't that good. But yeah, the idea is it's the same as reality TV stars. You know, the ones like you got your Love is Blind or your Love Island or I don't know how is Survivor still a thing? I don't even fucking know. But they're like horrible, dysfunctional, like just broken people. And they get on here because this is the chance that I'm going to start my TV career off of this. Never happened. I've never seen one reality TV star ever pivot to something useful. I think the closest they got were like the Jersey Shore people. I think Snooki got like a show for 2 minutes and Mikey, The Situation, had something. But now they're just back in Jersey doing Jersey things. Free Gender, $2 super chat. Chainsaw Man, the movie was awesome. Was it? Let me pull it up here. Chainsaw Man, you say? Oh, it's an anime. I don't know, man. Modern anime is just not doing it for me. Oh, yeah. A Japanese manga series about a teenager. All right, you lost him right there. Makes a contract that fuses his body with a dog-like chainsaw devil, grabbing the ability to transform his parts into chainsaws. Joins the public devil safety hunters. Yeah, man. I get it. This is like a very standard thing. Giant Robo kind of peaked that genre, though, so I'm not really for it anymore. White Claws and holding chicks accountable. Anyways, back to the boring stuff. The workplace. They go about the workplace stuff next. This one always made me laugh too, because where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. And so they're talking about like the Me Too, mostly about Me Too, but HR in general. Like, why is HR becoming the mommy police of businesses and that? And they dance around the subjects all that much. You eventually get down to the point. And the anti-woke, I'm not like the other girl said, we need to go back to sex-segregated workplaces. We need guardrails, academic freedom, clear accreditation. The idea of like that girl who has a PhD in smells, racial smells, like get rid of that shit. Which, it sounds great, but it's not really an answer. It's just like, hey, everybody we don't like and don't agree with, let's get rid of them. It's not a coherent thing. But again, she's rabble-rousing to the crowd. That's all it is. She's rabble-rousing to it. And of course, what does the conservative woman want to say? It's like, oh, it's all the liberals' fault. You know what you need? To be fair, actually, the one idea she had was good. Was because they were talking about mentorship. It's like guys don't mentor women anymore because the chances of you getting an accusation and getting your career canceled is just not worth it. And so women are like, we're on our own now. We need to bring back men. And then again, she wants the traditional family. She wants the time machine to the 50s thing. She goes, you know what would be great if mentors were allowed to tell their girls, hey, why don't you go start a family and have like a part-time track? Like, I don't know how you do academic work part-time or business work part-time, but they're like, yeah, why aren't they pushing for that stuff? Well, it's technically illegal to tell a girl not to shoot for the greatest career ever. And she liked the idea is like she wants it so that way people are economically encouraged to start families, which I always laugh at this stuff when they talk about giving women more and that will raise the TFR. Put aside whether you think the TFR is a thing you need to have or not. There's a whole bunch of arguments about it. I'm not convinced about any of them. We went from 1 billion people in 1900 to like 8 billion people today. If we drop down to 6, everybody's acting like it's the end of the world. A collapse is imminent. I'm like, I don't think so. We seem to do a lot when we were at 1 billion. We go to half, 4 billion now. Well, it's not just that. It's there's too many old people and not enough young people. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense if, like in 1900, about 95% of people were sustenance farmers. In that case, an old, skewed population, hugely bad. But we have forklifts now. We have forklifts and computers. The amount of stuff we have automated means, like, I don't know what the maximum amount of elderly versus working people we can afford. I don't know what the number is. Seeing the way the gentocracy is kind of screwing over the housing market right now leads me to believe that I think we're skewed a little too hard, but is it survivable? Yes. So we can, so put all these arguments about it. The idea is that fixing it, if you really want to fix it, there's only one solution, and everybody knows what it is, and we're not going to do it because we don't want it. We don't want it. What's that solution? Oh, everybody, UN, America, Canada, every think tank, everyone, notice there is a direct correlation between female affluence and birth rate. The more prosperous women get, the less children exist. Flat out. That's the singular, unitary factor. You can say, well, what about this and this? It all boils down to that. The more resources women have, the less children they tend to have. And it's reversed for men. They even there's like a thing with the lottery. They were tracking people who won the lottery. And when guys won the lottery, they tended to get married more. They tended to stay married longer. And they had larger families. When women won the lottery, they got divorced more and they had less children. So it's not a case of like affluence in specific. It's about men having money. Because when men get money, they do it because they want to impress. Like ultimately, if you really boil down to the instinct of it, we get resources because we want to attract a mate, and we want to attract a mate because we want to have a family. That's really it. Women have one tool to be able to get that, and it's like childbirth. So it seems like this whole TFR dropping thing is kind of a skewing of the incentives around our biological impulses, and we've turned into pandas, man. They put pandas in the zoo and wonder why they don't fuck. Whatever. But here's the point. Nobody wants to do anything about that. We've made accurate, like, do you want your daughter to give up a financial future in order to have a man to take care of her? No dad will say yes. None. No, I want her to have the best chance possible. I want her to not need no man. Because they ultimately don't want to take that risk. Because men are being taken over in like corporate life, business stuff, in most institutions anyway. So it's a fool's bet. You might get lucky, but it seems more like a lottery bet than like a sure thing, right? If it's true or not doesn't matter. It's perceived to be true, which is just as important. So until we go that route, which we won't, because no woman wants to. Hey, you're willing to accept less so that way guys can get more, so they can wife you up and make you a good kept woman. They're like, no, fuck that. And every dad of those girls is like, no, fuck that. So you have all the women and most guys being like, no. And then a few guys, the single guys, are like, yeah, I want this though. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it's anytime you see any arguments about like repeal the 19th or any of those guys, just know it's impotent rabble rousing. It's never going to happen. Nobody wants it to happen. We have made the choice to be where we are. This is exactly the life we want. So forget your stupid secret shit. Free gender, $2 super chat. One young person can take care of like 5 old people. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so what do they go on next? There's like 3 more. The solution to workplace problems. Oh yeah, so the anti-woke chick is like, it's legal. Let's level the playing field. That's her thing. And then the conservatives one's like, no, give women more money and more maternity leave. Again, they're rabble rousing for their side. Hey, Whammon, am I right? And the other one's like, hey, Longhouse, am I right? And I was like, is this the red pill now? 2012 red pill. They took it all. And they've turned it into a fight over 2 broads fighting over the balls of the nation. Fucking hurts to watch, man. I didn't really, to be fair, I kind of skimmed the Kangaroo Court Title IX college stuff because I don't have any interest at all, even on an interesting, like a rubbernecking level on that shit. Whatever. It's university. University's already overpriced under, like, who cares? Guys aren't even going to university. Doesn't matter the Title IX at this point. All that's doing is making it basically illegal to flirt with women. Technically, my new Cyberpunk book, I added that thing. There's this one character named Cabe, and he's got a giant crush on this character, Purdy, who is a woman. Because it's the only one legally he's allowed to flirt with in the office. I always like taking the stuff like this and then like exaggerating the absurdism 20% and seeing where it takes you. It's so much fun. I'll leave that one there. Anyways, so at the end they talk about vet stuff, which is just the anti-woke ones, and they were talking about veterinarian, because like women are essentially most or all veterinarians, other than rural ones. If you're in the rural one, you probably have a male veterinarian because no girl wants to stick her hand up a cow's ass. It's how you pregnancy check. And the idea was like feminized corporation there. It's not bad. It's okay. But it's not collapsed because the stakes are low. You know, if like, it's not like politics. If you have a bunch of women completely feminizing politics, you end up with communism and it's horrible and everybody dies. You put them in the corporate space. Corporate loses a lot of money. You know, go get woke, go broke. You guys know that stuff. But veterinarians are like, yeah, it's like the dogs will live. They don't kill animals. No matter how feminized it gets, they're not going to end up killing a puppy. So no matter what happens, it'll be fine. Which, to be fair, I want to blame private equity for what it's turned into now. But I could go for like hours on how vets now are just fucking retarded. Like, it's killing me. We found this old Russian guy. He's like 3 hours out of town. He's the only one we go to. And I just feel bad because when he dies, that's it, man. We're not getting another animal. Can't trust a vet. And what did the conservative ones say? Well, if the feminization of spaces was so bad, we would see the erosion in these high stakes fields like medicine or pharmacies, but we don't. And it's like, we do though. We do. Video games, absolutely crush now. We're trying to attract women. Tabletop RPG games, we're trying to attract women. They get extremely feminized. What about the high stakes ones like politics? It's like, dude, have you not seen the rush of communism right now? Who do you think is voting for inclusion and stuff? Women and feminized men? Technically ethnics, but I mean, whatever. We're not going to go there. Congratulations, New York, on your new communist Islam Sharia. Anyways, it got really annoying, and the more I got into it, I'm just like, I just looked at it, and all I could think of was just those MRAs who are sitting there like, we're going to go MGTOW. Now, I think we're a little balkanized as like a red pill space, so I don't think that's going to happen here. Because everybody gets to just do your thing. Like, just ignore them. Fuck it. We have a much more balkanized internet space. Everything is a hyper-specific niche, and so it's not going to be an issue. Or maybe it will be. Maybe by next year, the real red pill is like on drag queen, cupcake baking reality shows or something. I don't even know. I have no idea. I just see this is exactly the same thing that happened with Herb Goldberg and Esther Villar in the 70s. The same thing that happened with Karen Strawn and Terrence Popp and what's that fucking Paul Elam in the 90s. So what we saw with like Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate in the 2020s, it's like, did you see now why I act so jaded and cynical on this stuff? It's just like, it's that meme of the Chinese guy in Africa who's building a road or whatever. It's just so tiring, man. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. Ryan regrets bringing Allie onto the show. No, I like Allie. Don't get me wrong. Allie's kind of... Allie and Mac, which if you guys don't know who they are, they're on Twitter. They're probably the two chicks on there I like the most because they get it. They both get it. They liked the red pill stuff to an extent, but they also understands like, I'm a chick. It's not really my space. So I'm fine just being on the outside looking in. They don't need to be on the inside looking out. Plus, Allie's a vet. So I always got time for like fellow vets, even if they are the Marines. Or was she Army or Marine? I think she was Army, which it's fine. That still counts. It was Kristen. Yes, she was the one that was the Marine, which, it's close enough. It's close enough to Navy. Somebody remind me of the guy Fuentes. He has nothing to do with it. Nothing. Red pill was just like a boogeyman term. It was like an N-bomb for guys if you wanted to throw it out. Oh, they're just a bunch of red pill. But yeah. So anyways, how do we do? I've always wondered, how good am I? Oh, wow, I'm really early. Man, I used to be so much better at this. Back when I was teaching full-time, I was able to set up a lesson plan and or a speech, like when I first got here, and set it down within 5 minutes of the goal. If I wanted a 2-hour lecture, I could give you 1 hour and 55 minutes, or 2 hours and 5 minutes, and cut it short. If I did a teaching plan, it was like to the thing. Now I'm off. I'm like 30 minutes off. Guess we're doing bants. Let's make fun of somebody. Who are we going to make fun of? Oh, I know.
Ryan Stone, another fucking faggot. Socially retarded faggot, okay? He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. He can be a gentleman. He's snarky as fuck, even in person. And you have to get through that wall because he puts a wall up. Yet he blocks me and talks shit about. Somebody find out their fucking real names for me and email me.
There she is.
Ryan Stone, another fat.
It is just.
Oh my god.
If you're a young man, you need to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, you need to subscribe to this goddamn channel.
What the fuck?
Megan Fox with a dick, or Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
You see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there.
You have to conclude that Trump betrayed us.
Socially retarded fat.
Seething.
Don't work with retard.
He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile, can be a gentleman, he's snarky as even in person. Yet he blocks me and talks shit about. Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
I'm not going to lie. Part of me kind of wants to restart Manosphere mornings. I'd have to unblock and start following all the retards again, but oh man. It was fun for that little bit of time. It was meant as satire to make fun of a lot of these gossipy red pill guys and do it in the format of a morning show. But the problem is people started to sincerely like it, and I'm the satire kind of fell flat. Poe's Law, my bad. Yeah, somebody snarky as that. Find me his real name for me. How do you not laugh at this stuff though, man? It always makes you chuckle. Anyways, yeah, so red pill space. Oh, actually, I do have some time now, so we're gonna talk about the books. I like the Andrew Tate one. Ryan Stone is the most important guy in the world. I've got a few of those. I could probably make some more. I've got Tekken for Pennies. I got 3 Tekken for Pennies. I got him saying I'm not 6 feet tall. And there was another one about, the important guy in the world. So those are always good. Yeah, I'll get to that one later on. So, I am finishing book 8 as we speak. Softbone, book 7. What do we have? Oh yeah, so I'll give you the thing. So obviously we started with Fuck Files, moved all the way up. Praxeology Volume 3 was the last non-fiction one I did. That's field reports and the idea of a practical application of the red pill. And then we did Dog Walker, again the first literotica rom-com, slice of life, auto-fiction, non-fiction, red-pilled, very red-pilled. Promise Keeper, how to stop being a promise keeper. And then Softbone was a guy trying to be free, getting out of the longhouse. I am working on a second one now. The moral theme of that one is you can't red pill your friends. But again, it's in the same cyberpunk world of Amazon's corporate town 126. They have built a new Tower of Babel called the Temple. Women are basically running this thing with AI and Indian subpar scab labor. Jake ends up finding a bunch of people who are trying to get free from it the same as he did, and finding out it's much harder than you think. It starts off with a wonderful scene of a new toy called Tickle. essentially like synthetic children for all the women who are post-wall, ran out of eggs, so they get to have that feeling of being motherhood, but then again, it's a consumer good. And some terrorist attacks. It's good stuff. So I finished I'm one chapter short of finishing the second draft right now. I should have that done end of the day. Do you ever want to do AI intros in the future? I mean, I do some on the movie channel where it's LaFontaine's voice, like, hey, do you like action? I might do it with these ones too. I've considered it, which it actually kind of themes well with the book because it's like dystopic, kind of like the way Coke was doing it with theirs. But it's on the list. I got to do more marketing because the second one I'm going to run it as a Kickstarter. I've watched Larry Corella do his new American Patriot as a Kickstarter, and I thought, what an interesting idea. The idea with that one is you get to pre-sale the book. So like, yeah, if you just want the book, you can buy it here now early on, which I already do with Amazon anyway, but it's just with Kindle. But most people want the paperback anyway. So with this way, I can do that pre-sale with the paper book. But if it gets to certain thresholds, then I can start adding things to it. Like there's maybe an artist that I'll commission a special edition cover that's just for those initial backers, or everybody will get like hardcovers, or do it as a box set. I'd have to find out how to print box sets and that stuff. That's once I finish the third draft, I'll be focusing on that stuff while Nick focuses on the book. But it's kind of like sky's the limit. Just look into what it would take to add more for people to have a better reading experience, and then how much would that cost, and then just set paywalls. So as it gets more, so it's basically, it gets to be as awesome a book as you guys want it to be, which I'm like, that's perfect. So I don't have to worry about this. Like, oh, what if I would have loved this so much if it was like this. I'm like, well, I don't know if there's enough people that want that, but now I get to know. So it seems very interesting and very cool that people get to have exactly what they want, and I get to cater to them even better because, like, dude, the story's good. The reading, it's very easy to read, like everything from typographic choices to the pacing to not over explaining things. Like, I hate when books are all exposition and they just explain a story to you because it bores the shit out of me. Action, dialogue, exposition as a last resort. Keep somebody's interest. And so I just kind of always like that. It's not taking your time for granted. And yeah, for you it'll be an afternoon of fun for $10. But I'm like, if I can make 10,000 guys enjoy an afternoon of their time, that's pretty impressive. It's very hard to do now, especially like nobody does that anymore. Those flabby infant dolls, gross. They're called Tickle, Tickle. There's an acronym for it. I think you'll enjoy it, but it's got that same like satirical, like, what the fuck. And the part I love the best about the satire in this one is it's stuff that's fairly plausible, and we're kind of close there now. So when you read it, like, we're not doing that. Like, for example, in the first one, another thing came true, by the way, I had a soft phone. I was talking about like bathroom. If you want to use the bathroom, there was an ad that would have to play before you would use the toilet. And in China, they just had this thing where you have to scan a QR code and watch an ad before it gives you toilet paper. I was like, God damn it. The AI one, in there, I have a story about how Amazon took over Google because Google invited a bunch of Indian tech guys in there, and they started slopifying everything and making it too ad heavy. So they got the Google team, the one guy's name was Buck, to develop an AI system that looked through and got rid of all this stuff. And then the problem is the AI eventually learned off of other AI, became inbred, and then started becoming extreme slop. Google's stock price dropped. Amazon took them over in a hostile takeover, killed all the members, or kicked them out of the country and shit like that. And I was like, oh my God. How many of you guys are using ChatGPT and Grok now to search the internet instead of Google? Like, it happened. And now AI, like OpenAI, is finding out that they've scanned all of the imagery and the text off the internet. And now AI is starting to learn off of AI, and it's corrupting the data. Oh, man. I guess that was the problem, is I didn't think big enough. So, yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think people are going to love it. I do my best to keep it. And that's the other thing I hate, is when people make a story that's just like a technical manual for a world building. Because the story is ultimately about the characters. Like in the first one, you have Nancy, you have Fatal, you have Jake, and you have Buck and Han. And these are all characters that have like different types of family formations and how they interact within this world to do these things. It's not about the heist. It's not about the gear. It's not about the tech. It's about the people. And then this new one, there's going to be a bunch of new characters. There's a couple old characters that, little pops-ins when they're relevant. But for the most part, it's new characters. There's Purdy and Cabe and, I guess Jake's back. Actually, I guess it's mostly the three. And there's Paramjeet, but he's more of a side character anyway. But they kind of it's more things like guys who want to get out of the longhouse and the differences between them. And it's I don't want to spoil anything, but that's it. Oh, and that's the other thing I was getting to. So Andrew Wilson's Pickle Jar. Is there going to be an audiobook to Softbone? There is. It's finished. It's finished, and I haven't checked it today yet, so I don't know if it's out yet. I have a Substack that I'll be promoting it on for emails. All right, so Softbone, Down and Out in New Kowloon, the audiobook was submitted for audiobook approval on October 31st. That was 8 days ago. It takes them 10 days approximately to approve of something. So I should know by Monday if there's any changes to be made, which there shouldn't. Everything on there is done perfectly. I have followed the ACX audio recording standards to a T. Everything. And this is like 7th time through. I think once out of all 8 books, or all 7 or 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of all 6 of the audiobooks I've had on, or 6? There was 7. Anyways, one mistake that had delayed a release. Just one. So I'm pretty sure this will be out within the next 2 days. But if you're not on Substack, get on Substack, because that's where I'll email you guys out the thing. Plus, you get every week you can have like case studies, guys in the red pill applying things. It's mostly guys who aren't doing things well. Because I found in Dread, I had a story about the Litz, which I would argue he's probably the best example of start to finish getting red pill right. Warts and all. Things he did right, the mistakes he's made, how he recovered for them, his end result, the choices he make as his outcomes. I'd say that's probably the quintessential perfect example of a guy running his map 100%. So now it's like, well, I'll show the various guys' ways screw up. And they screw up in a lot of different ways and a lot of common ways. And then that's the plan too. So once the Kickstarter and Softbone 2 things all out of the way, I've got Praxeology Volume 4 in the can. I have to do the graphic design layout. I might wrap some extra stuff around the stuff I've already got right now, because it's been like a year since I finished it. And so I'm like, I got some things I'd like to add. So that'll be good. And then Praxeology Volume 4, the working title right now is Case Studies. So field reports, obviously you know what a field report is. A case study is a longitudinal look of a connection of field reports in order to draw more conclusions. Because single events, it's hard to like draw final conclusions from them. It's usually after a series of events. And then if there's going to be a Prax 5, that'll probably be theory, which would be like a collection of all the theories. And I kind of like that too, because that's the idea of how all this stuff kind of worked. It always started with field reports, and then people would collect a bunch of field reports together, make conclusions, and then from those conclusions, people would develop the theories, which are the mental models that you kind of know of now. So I kind of like the idea of it following that process. So I'm not quite done with everything there is to say about the red pill now. Humble Pie Couch a la mode. Interesting. So a 2026 launch. I'm not sure about the dates. I want to get Prax 4 out before end of year, and Softbone 2 will probably be out spring 2026, I'm guessing. Ryan, do you regret using steroids in the Navy? I never used steroids in the Navy. Is that Billy again? Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, fun fact, I've never used anything. No hard drugs, no steroids, no TRT, no HGH. I mean, creatine doesn't count. But yeah, I'm a straight edge. The only thing I'm missing right now is like the longhouse wife. So we'll see. Anyways, just stay on Substack. It's kind of fun. It's nice too, because everybody's kind of oblivious to all the Twitter stuff and the last 7 years of red pill stuff. So I warned everybody, man, like, you don't want gender slop from me. And they started putting it out and everybody's like, holy shit. They're engaging with it. And I'm like, I want to go back to writing Cyberpunk, man. You don't want this smoke. And everybody's like, yeah, we don't want this smoke. But they come in for the smoke every time. I read all of your douche canoe substacks, Nikki, Rapid, Barry, etc. Oh, yeah. Oh, to be fair, I don't end up shitting on a lot of the guys. A lot of the guys, they make mistakes and their ego drives them, but I always make an effort. It's something I learned from the military. It's where you don't want to critique the person, you want to critique the action. Because I find as soon as I start saying these guys are retards, you don't want to do what they're doing, look what a fucking idiot he is, and I really should go back and read to make sure I didn't do this, but I made the effort not to, is that it discourages guys from making mistakes. Mistakes are fine. You're going to make mistakes. If you're not outside your comfort zone, you're not going to make mistakes. So you need to be outside of it. You need to do things you're not comfortable with doing. And you're not going to get it perfect every time, which is fine. Mistakes are some of the best learning material ever. It's better to learn through other people, but if you can learn through your own stuff, so much the better. Yeah, anyways, that's all I got on this one. So we're going to end this one a little early, a little half hour early. So enjoy a coffee, have some breakfast, go do your thing. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Oh, that was the one thing I was going to do. Put a link to the Substack. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Let's try this properly. I hate how YouTube forces you to do the HTTPS manually or else it won't do it. So links on there. You don't have to be a paid subscriber. If you just get on it, at the very least, you find out what's getting on, what's keeping on, what's going on, what's new. You'll get previews of all the case study stuff anyway, most of like the main stuff. It's the commentary stuff that I put behind it. So if you want to support the channel, absolutely, you're more than welcome to. You're going to get way more value for your buck than you think it's worth. Guaranteed. For like, what is it, $5 a month, you're getting $10 of value. But if you just want to be able to keep up to date, see what's going on, see what's new, find me if I ever get canceled off of YouTube, which is possible. I could get John Anthony at any time. The email's the best way to be able to find me. So, anywho, that's it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And where's my stupid thing?
And Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall because he...
79T 2458 Learning Corp Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out the fucking real names for me.
40 years of